In Oxford, behind thick glass, stands a clay prism 20 centimeters tall. It spins. On it, a list of kings. The first king ruled 28,800 years. This is not legend, not myth, not a retelling. This is an official state document of Sumerian civilization, and it exists to this day. But here is what no one told you. The scribes who compiled this list knew they were lying. We can prove it, grammatically. And the section cited most often, the one with 28,000 years, was added later by an unknown hand, with grammatical errors that expose the forger. And the most terrifying? The same story, the same names, the same flood, the same seventh righteous man taken alive to heaven appears in the Bible, word for word. But the Bible was written 1,000 years later. Someone rewrote Sumerian history and called it the Word of God. Stay until the end. The third story, about what the church banned for 14 centuries. The tablet that spins. The scribes who lied in writing. The story that predates the Bible. Between 2100 and 1800 BCE, a Sumerian scribe sat down and began writing. He knew what he was doing was dangerous. He was stitching together histories of cities that had never agreed with each other. He was creating a single line of power where none had ever existed. 1922, Iraq. The excavation of ancient Larsa. British antiquarian Herbert Weld-Blundell pulls a small clay object from the earth. Not a tablet, a prism. 4 sides, 8 inches tall, and a hole through the center for a wooden spindle. This object was created to spin, so the reader could rotate it and read each of the 4 sides in turn. On all 4 sides, one and the same text, the list of kings of Sumer. From the very beginning, from the moment when, as written in the text, kingship descended from heaven. The first king, Alulim of the city of Eridu, reigned 28,800 years. The second king, Alalgar, also from Eridu, 36,000 years. And so on. 8 kings, until the Great Flood. Together, 241,200 years of rule. Then, in one line, it is written, "The flood swept over everything. After the flood swept over everything, kingship again descended from heaven." And the list continues, already with normal people, with normal years. There is one woman in the king list, described as, literally, a female tavern keeper who became king. She ruled for 100 years. She was later deified, worshipped as a goddess, a tavern keeper who became a god. In the same year, 1923, Assyriologist Stephen Langdon published the complete translation. The academic world received the document and immediately divided into 2 camps. If you read the Sumerian king list carefully, it is full of errors, not random ones, systematic ones. The list claims dynasties ruled one after another. One city passed power to the next, one unbroken chain. But archaeology proves most of these dynasties existed simultaneously. Why? Because there existed a political dogma. The gods permitted only one city to hold supreme power at a time, and every city wanted to prove it was the rightful heir. The king list is not history, it is propaganda. Here is the second error, even more interesting. Queen Kugbao, the only woman, described as a tavern keeper who became king. She ruled for exactly 100 years. Sounds beautiful. But here is what actually happened. The scribe inserted between Kugbao and her son, who was to inherit the throne directly after her, an entire foreign dynasty of the city of Akshak. 99 years of foreign rule. And to make Kugbao mathematically reach across this artificial gap to her son, the scribe simply assigned her exactly 100 years of rule. Her age is a patch, a mathematical tool to hide the error the scribe himself created. But the most striking proof of manipulation is linguistic. The original author used a specific grammatical form of the Sumerian verb, the collective form, ib'a 5, only for dynasties with multiple kings, and the singular, ia 5, for dynasties with one king. The later scribe, who added the pre-flood kings, used the collective form for all of them, even for single kings. He did not know the grammar of the original text. The forgery is visible in the verbs. But even this is not the strangest thing. The strangest thing is that the numbers may not have been invented at all. The Sumerians counted in a base 60 system. One unit of time, called a sar, was 3,600 years. Not 1 year. 3,600. Some researchers calculated, if you take the biblical ages of the patriarchs and mistakenly read them through the Sumerian number system, you get exactly 241,200 years. The same total as in the list. Perhaps 28,000 years of Alulim's rule is 930 years of Adam, read with the wrong mathematics. And now, the parallels. And from them it becomes truly uncomfortable. In the Sumerian king list, 8 rulers before the flood. In the 5th book of Genesis, 8 patriarchs from Adam to Noah. Coincidence? Perhaps. The 7th Sumerian king, Enmenderana. About him it is written specially, the gods took him to themselves, taught him divine secrets, the art of divination, knowledge not meant for mortals. The 7th biblical patriarch, Enoch. And Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. The only patriarch not overtaken by death, simply taken. 21,000 years versus 365. The same person, 2 different records, 2 different civilizations. The 8th Sumerian king, Ubara Tutu. The 8th biblical patriarch, Methuselah. In both texts, independently from each other, it is written the same. This man died at the moment the flood came. 18,600 years versus 969. And now, what the church banned for 14 centuries. There exists a text called the Book of Enoch. In it, in detail, is described what exactly Enoch learned from the gods, the secrets of heaven, the nature of angels, knowledge forbidden to humans. In the 4th century CE, Bishop Athanasius of Alexandria officially banned this text. The book disappeared from the official canon. for 14 centuries. Until 1773, when Scottish traveller James Bruce found 3 copies of it in Ethiopia. The Sumerian Enmen-Dur-Ana received from the gods knowledge not meant for humans. Enoch received from God knowledge the church banned for 14 centuries. The same person, the same prohibition. Here is what we know for certain. The clay prism exists. It is in Oxford. You can see it. The numbers on it are real. The grammatical proof of the forgery is real. The structural parallel with Genesis is real. The Book of Enoch existed and was banned. What we know for certain is this. The Sumerian king list and the Book of Genesis describe the same flood, the same 7th figure taken by the divine, and the same moment of death for the 8th. One was written 1,000 years before the other. But here is the question that gives no peace. If this is coincidence, it is too precise to be accidental. If this is borrowing, who decided that a Sumerian state chronicle would become sacred text? And if this is shared memory of a real event, what exactly happened 241,000 years ago? If this reached you, subscribe to Lost Empires. Every week we go deeper. The next video, another civilization, another secret, another question that has no answer. And while you think about it, one question in the comments. Do you believe this is shared memory of a real flood, or did the Bible simply borrow the Sumerian myth?